Hey, what's up, folks? Good morning. God bless you. Happy Sunday. So, I'm Bruce. This is actually my first YouTube video, should I decide to actually load it. You know how this goes. I recorded these things before, and they're somewhere in the archives. So, I'm looking at Black social commentary, right? The things that are going on concerning us that are getting a lot of coverage in the news now, but you may not get the game on it, like the real perspective. I feel like the media has always done a very good job of misrepresenting us or um focusing on the underbelly of Black society and promoting that to the top and creating stereotypes that people are socialized into. So when they encounter Black people, they think that somewhere in there, no matter how intelligent you are, how poised, whatever, it's a nigga in there somewhere. And I feel like society's been conditioned that way. The other thing that is a big passion of mine is spirituality. I was a Christian minister for a long time, and I'm gonna get into that. But I think the church has a large bearing and influence on how Black people live, how we uh, face our challenges, how our value systems are shaped. So the first video, I actually want to talk about why I left Christianity. Sounds like a breakup video, right? It kind of is actually. Um, I've ended my relationship with Jesus Christ. Ooh. But I want to give you some background. Excuse me. I want to give you some background to let you know that I'm not just some fly by night guy who, kind of flipped through the Bible a little bit, went to church on Easter, and now all of a sudden say, I'm leaving the church. Um, I represent the folks who were deeply committed, deeply devoted, um, deeply invested in going to church, leadership, service, witnessing, preaching the gospel, teaching people, all of that stuff. There's a quote that says, until you find what you're willing to die for, then you're not really living. Christianity was that thing for me. So, long story short, just a little background. I didn't grow up in the church, right? I was out doing my thing, especially in my teenage years, kind of a bad boy running the streets with my friends. But all Black people, maybe not all, but most of us, a lot of us know someone either in our family, someone we love, or someone who's close to us who's an avid churchgoer. That was one of my best friend's family. His entire church or his entire family was their church. And he played the keyboard by force, of course, not voluntarily. See, he learned it and he had to play on Sundays. But after that, we go and do our thing. So I always kind of had that little nagging influence to go to church, to live right, to take the earring out of my ear, to pull up my pants, yada, yada, yada. So once I graduated high school, joined the Marines, my first duty station was Okinawa, Japan. When I got there, and I'm gonna tell you, if you're not in the military or you haven't been, three things happen when the young Marines go overseas. One to three things, maybe a few of them. Either you fall in love, get married, engaged, you get really religious, or you become really friendly with alcohol. For me, it was two of the three. Okay. Fell in love, found a little sweet thing, got engaged, and I didn't get really religious, but she was, and I won't even call her religious. She was spiritual. She had some kind of spiritual giftedness about her, and it ended up influencing me when I left Okinawa and came back, and I tried to resume the good times with the boys at home on leave. It just, the feel wasn't there for me. I felt a pull, a tug to do something to change my life. And the only place I knew to go was church. So I called my friend's cousin, the folks who uh his family is the church. So he was like, oh, great, man. Finally, let's go to church. So I was on leave for 30 days. So I had a few days to avoid him. I felt like I needed to do it, but I was a little afraid. So after 3 or 4 days of avoiding him, finally I went. It was like a weekday service. I was there for one reason, to accept Jesus. I had seen people do it dozens of times. Now it was my turn. As soon as the preacher said, it was a song that was saying, "Come to Jesus, come to Jesus, come to Jesus just now." I don't know why it was just now, but that was a song. He will save you. So I gotta walk down the aisle. Emotional moment. Don't laugh at me. But I was serious, and I did that. And from that day forth, I had left all the crazy stuff I used to do. I even got rid of a lot of the music that I used to listen to. My next duty station was California. Flew out there after I got off leave. My brother was there, and he had already gotten saved. And I thought he was crazy before I got saved. But now it's like, perfect. My brother and I are here. We can do this together. And it was really cool. Got to the airport and he picked me up and he had two of his friends with him. They were jamming Kirk Franklin, Stomp. And I was like, okay, I can get with this. We went to church. I went hard. I became weird to the Marines around me in a way because I didn't go out, party, and drink. I would stay home and study my Bible, read, pray. And I felt this calling on me to speak out, to preach. Call my mom one day and say, "Mom, I know what I'm supposed to do." "Well, what's that, son?" "I'm supposed to be a preacher." So I tell my mom tells the rest of the world. I kind of ascended growth-wise and began teaching, preaching to the point that I became like the second-hand man to the pastor. From there, I go from duty station to duty station doing the same things, but I'm gonna fast forward you for the sake of a long story. I retired in 2015, right? Joined in 95, retired in 2015. Throughout that time in Christianity, I always had a question about my Africanness, right? And the reason being is because I was raised in South Carolina. My mother's from South Carolina, but my father is from Sierra Leone, West Africa. And he gave me snippets of African culture, but he never really immersed me in it. He didn't really share anything historical with me. So I always had a historical curiosity. What are our origins? And all I had was what the media would give us about what Africa was, which was the kids with the swollen bellies, flies swarming around them. And I was like, are we cursed? What's going on with us? So every now and then I look in the Bible and I flip through. Surely this is God's book. We've got to be in here. Something about our condition to justify why we are the way we are everywhere you see us. I would always look, but I couldn't find anything. And when I found little things, it would be like something about Ethiopia. And it would have a negative connotation to it. There's a scripture that says that the leopard can't remove his spots and the Ethiopian can't change his skin, right? Or in the book of Song of Solomon, the girl says, "I am comely, but black." And then the last one I'll mention is, of course, the curse of Ham. After Noah and his family get off the boat, either his son Canaan, I think his son, uncovered Noah's nakedness, and Noah cursed his son, which was Noah's grandson, said he shall be a servant of servants. And of course, that's supposed to be the lineage of Black people that repopulated the world. And so it gives you a sense that something is inherently wrong with us. But if you don't do accurate historical research, you'll live with that and you'll internalize it unbeknownst to yourself. So after retirement, what I did was I was YouTubing one day and I came across a video of one man named Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen, affectionately known as Dr. Ben, right? And this guy was slicing and dicing the history, digging up stuff about out of Africa with evidence, citing his sources and challenging the traditional scholarship, historical scholarship. And that was enough for me. That had my attention. And so I began to read his books, read his sources, and then buy and read the books of the people who he referenced. So it was my level of diligence was eerily similar to that which I had when I came into Christianity, head in that Bible. So in this case, my head was in the history books, learning Africa, learning the history, and to the point where now I have a better grasp of who we are, where we come from, what we've been through, and why we are here, which is why I'm here with you right now. Because that journey, which began in about 2017, and it's come really up until now. So I didn't just leave Christianity. You know, when you've been in a relationship for a long time like that, you can't just walk away. You know, you got to emotionally detach. So this was a process of a few years, but that's my story. I came out of that relationship. It was not, you know, I'm gone, it's over overnight. It was a process. And I actually had to study the historical period around when Jesus was born, because I had to know. In my mind, Jesus was the central figure. He said that for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes would not perish but have everlasting life. I'm like, okay, he's the linchpin. Let me find out about this guy. Did he exist? What happened around that era, before the turn of the century, after the turn of the century? So I studied from ancient Kemet, Egypt, up through Greece, Rome, and that 600 year period right there, 300 BC, 300 AD, to kind of understand where Jesus fit in that. What was his true influence historically, not just what the Bible says. And I found a lot of inconsistencies, and I satisfied a lot of my curiosity, and I got enough information, confirmation for me to be comfortable with leaving Christianity, because we had some relationship problems. And I don't have time to get into it right now, but I may do another video on that. And I know a lot of you are having relationship problems with your Christianity. So hopefully something I said can give you courage to begin to research, to be honest with the questions you have in your spiritual experience. When you leave one relationship, you don't have to feel obligated to jump right into another. A lot of Christians would say, oh, you left Christianity? Are you Muslim now? What, are you Buddhist? You don't have to be anything. You know, just be you. Take time to get to know you, who you are, where you come from. That's about it. So I'm interested to hear any feedback. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Maybe what you want to hear next. I guess like and subscribe. I got to start saying that now. But until next time, stay ready, stay blessed. Peace.